Have you ever given 120% effort into something? You were getting after it, you were going to achieve your goals, you worked hard, weeks went by, you stuck with it. The day came and you failed. You didn't get the goal that you wanted. My name's Jared. I'm a learning coach. I've been there. I was in college. I failed out twice. I've started a whole bunch of diets. They've failed pretty quickly. I've had some that have lasted minutes. I've had some that have lasted a couple days before I quit and gave up on them. But there were other times where I really stuck to it. I gave it all my effort. I put everything I could into it. And the day came and I failed. Never got there. Never got the results I wanted. And today I want to tell you a little bit about some misconceptions people get about effort. And here's a story everyone's been told their entire life. You work hard, you're dedicated, you stick with it, you're going to get the result that you want. As the more effort goes in, the more results you're going to get. And if you work harder, you're just going to get more and more results. It's just going to keep going up and up and up and up. But that's not true. We all know this. We've been around long enough. You've tried some things where you've put your effort in and you found you didn't get the results that you want. So it doesn't really look like that. When I was thinking about this, I took a key from one of my pharmacology lectures that we talk about. We have a chart that we have, and I'll put it up here to show you. It talks about medication doses and how the medication builds up in your system or it accumulates over time. At the bottom there, you get a little bit of the medication, but if you stay below that lowest mark, you don't have enough of the medication in your system to do what it needs to do. So if it's like an antibiotic, there's not enough there to, kill or destroy that bacteria that's causing the infection. After you cross that, you get to a good point where you're getting the results that you want, and there's not really a high risk of getting those side effects. So you're in that therapeutic zone, or therapeutic window is what it's called. Then you can get to the top. And the top's called the maximum safe dose, or maximum effective dose. So we want to make sure we're staying between the minimum effective dose, maximum effective dose. If we cross over that maximum effective dose and we start giving more than what's in that therapeutic window, there's some big risks that pop up. There can be the toxic side effects, there can be problems with some other things. Essentially, we're not getting the return for our buck that we were getting before. So we're giving more and more and more medication, and we're not giving better outcomes. We're actually getting worse outcomes because now we're going to get into the toxic area where we're going to see some problems with this patient. And I took that and I thought about it, and I thought about how this works with effort. So I developed this chart here. It's the same idea. You have a minimum amount of effort that you need to give towards a goal in order to get the results that you want. If you don't give enough effort, you're not going to get the goals you want. You need to give an effort. But then it kind of peaks. There's a window in there where you need to give enough effort, where you're getting the results, but not so much that you're running into problems. So that's where my maximum area is. So I have a minimum effort and a maximum effort. The maximum effort doesn't mean it's 100%. It just means if you cross this line and you go a little bit higher than what that maximum is, your return for the effort you're putting into things is going to diminish and could possibly backtrack a little bit. So you're getting worse outcomes despite giving more efforts. So when we're thinking about the effort we want to put towards something, whether it's being, learn a new skill, study better, lose some weight, stick to a diet or exercise program, we want to keep our effort within that window there. So whatever, way we're looking at it, but we want to keep that effort in a window. But we also have to remember that it's our methods that matter too. We need to give a good amount of effort, and we got to follow a right program, because if we're not following a good program that's proven to be effective, it doesn't matter how much effort we're putting into it, you're just going to be set up to fail. So here's the other problem. Effort's a limited resource. There is only so much effort and attention you can put towards things in a day. You've got whatever goal you're working to, whether it's diet, exercise, studying, learning, anything like that. You've got effort that can go there. You've got effort to motivate you to go to work, to do a good job at your work, to see your family, to spend time with your friends, to do your own leisure time. You might have chores, responsibilities. All of these things require a little bit of effort. If we take all of our effort and put it towards one singular goal, everything else is put on the back burner, and those things are just going to fail and fall off. Your relationships might struggle, and I fell for it. I tried it. I had, when I was studying for one of my big exams, I remember I had a pile of 3,000 to 4,000 note cards, and I had to go over them every single day, 7 days a week. It took me 6 to 8 hours every day to make sure I went over those note cards. And guess what? When I got the grades back on my test, I passed, but it wasn't an impressive pass by any means, People in my class who didn't study as much as me or put the effort, as much effort as I put into it, did better than me. And there were some serious side effects of that. Some of my relationships suffered. I definitely wasn't doing any housework. My house has turned into a mess. I couldn't sleep. I was just stressed over everything. And everything else that needed my effort and attention got put on the back burner and suffered because of it. And this is what we call the opportunity cost. Because you're putting effort and time and attention towards that one goal, everything else is going to be on the back burner. And that is not a healthy way to live. You're going to be in a bad place because, one, you're going to fail at achieving your goals. You're going to burn out. And then you're going to realize that a lot of other stuff in my life has piled up, and now I've got a whole big pile of problems compared to just not reaching my goal. The next is willpower. There's only so much willpower you have in a day. You can't give it all towards one singular goal. Real life means we've got responsibilities, things we have to accomplish every day. There's things we have to do every single day in order to get through a normal life. If we're putting all of our effort into one tank and we're still trying to achieve other things and complete our daily tasks and spend time with our family and our friends and all that stuff, eventually you're going to try to keep up with all these other things, but you're going to find out the quality suffers. The quality that you were putting out is no longer there. The stuff you're doing sucks because all your attention's put at that one goal. Everything else has been pushed off to the side and it's no longer a priority to you. So your quality of that goes down. And it's not sustainable. If you put 120% into a single goal over and over again, week on week on week, not only are you not going to reach your goal, at some point you're going to run out of energy and you're going to stop. Whatever was this big transformation goal for you or this big accomplishment, it's not important anymore because you burned out. It wasn't a sustainable plan and you've got nothing left to give and you've never reached your goal. So here comes some more problems, is sometimes we know we're burned out. We know we're working too hard. We know we're not getting the results based on the effort that we're putting into it. But a lot of people keep pushing. I know I did. I thought I was on point. I thought all my ducks were in a row. Things were going great. I'm going to achieve this goal within this time period. That just wasn't true. And there are some things some traps that I fell for that I definitely could have avoided. One is a complexity bias. So when we're going out and we're looking at a new goal, we're looking at something we want to accomplish, and then we have to look at the strategy and the approach we're going to use to get there. One of the problems that we see is we look at approaches and then we kind of evaluate them. And one of the ways that we'll evaluate them is we'll look at how complex the program is. We think that just because that program is complex, it means it is inherently better than one that is basic. And there's just no truth to that. But some reason in our heads, we have this belief that if it is complicated, difficult, it requires you to turn around backwards and jump 3 times and do all this crazy stuff, that it is just better than the other method. And that's just not true. Another problem that we run into is this novelty bias. So just because something is new or seems innovative, or if it's a new strategy, for some reason we think that method is better than the tried and true approach, the approach that we know has established itself over time. It's worked for hundreds and hundreds or millions and millions of people. But everyone that uses this approach, as long as they put the effort in, they stay committed, dedicated, and they stick with that plan, they're able to succeed with it. But for some reason, we get in our heads that because something is new and novel, it's going to be better than just doing the tried and true approach. Another problem is this all or nothing mindset we get into when we're trying to achieve our goals. I know I fell for it. I put everything I could into a diet once. And I remember I had my Fitness Pals going. I had calories figured out to within 10. I had my protein, my carbs, my fat. I kept them every single day within a gram of what I want it to be on my goal. I was extremely strict. I looked at every food label. And, I did lose weight, but it was not a sustainable approach. I didn't learn how to eat healthy. I didn't learn how to be flexible on that diet. I lost the weight that I wanted to, but, I only achieved that weight loss for like 3 or 4 days before I couldn't sustain it anymore. And I ended up, eating a little bit more and ended up with this yo-yo pattern where my weight just went right back to where I started at. And I had to think of another approach. So all or nothing mindset can get you into a lot of troubles there. You have to be able to bend without breaking. So we have to remember, there is the right amount of effort we need to put in to the pursuit of our goals. It can be too little, which that's not going to give us effective results. It can be too much, and it's going to make us burn out. So we want to make sure we're staying within that window of being effective with how much effort we're putting in towards our goals. But here comes the problem. We know that sometimes we give too much effort, we get into that burnout zone, and we keep going. We think that if we keep pushing the pedal, we go a little bit harder, it doesn't matter, it's just a bump, we're going to push through it, and we're still going to get there. And if you want to learn more about that, you can look at this one here. And if you want to learn more about how to learn and how to learn effectively with AI and in a responsible manner, you can check out my book in the description below.